So Tesla stock today is sitting at a $650 billion market cap at around $675 per share. And this is after a massive 40% sell-off the stock saw in recent weeks due to the broader market selling off, specifically hitting high growth and tech stocks. And Tesla is both of these. It's a high growth stock, it's a tech stock. It's an extremely volatile stock in any market conditions, so Tesla investors are kind of used to this by now. And you may have caught that I call Tesla a tech company because, in my opinion, that's exactly what they are. They have a hardware component, they have a software component, but at the end of the day, they create technology to solve problems. Now, let me ask you this question. Does this remind you of any other company out there? Maybe a $2 trillion company comes to mind. Yes, guys, I'm talking about Apple. Apple is a $2 trillion giant, and they, in my opinion, have a lot of similarities with Tesla, and I'm going to outline them in this video to make my case on why Tesla stock will also be worth $2 trillion in the future. This will really help us model out things, kind of see things for what it really is, see how Apple is doing, see what Tesla is doing, and just kind of draw some comparisons and be like, yeah, okay, this is definitely on the same track, and this is going to be a massive giant in the future. But you got to keep in mind, for all of these things I'm about to show you in this video to play out, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. This is not something you buy today and then next week you're like, Nick, why is it not $2 trillion? Guys, it takes time to play out. A minimum of 5 years is what I would say for anyone looking at Tesla shares today. If you're willing to hold it for at least 5 years, I think you'll be handsomely rewarded then when we do hit that milestone. But if you're here to like swing trade on Tesla or hold it on for a couple years and be like, oh my gosh, why is this stock not moving? Yeah, this probably isn't the investment for you, so just keep note of that. And also, full disclosure, I own Tesla shares. My cost base is around $55 per share, and it's probably going to change if I start buying more soon, which I might. And I also personally own a Model Y Performance, so it's kind of skewed me a little bit. So, hey, you can call me a Tesla fanboy if you will, but I love this company. I've seen what they can do firsthand, and that's why it's added a lot more conviction to my thesis. Anyways, guys, take a second, smash the like button down below if you're a Tesla bull. Let's jump into the content. So I've been contemplating Tesla for many months, okay? Like, I bought this stock in 2019. I haven't bought since, but I've always wanted to buy more. I always see the price, I'm like, you know, it's like a few $100 billion market cap. Oh yeah, this can definitely be a $1 trillion+ company in a few years. I should buy some more. And then the stock just, you know, it shoots up, it rallies, and then I'm just like, whatever, I'll just let it do its thing. Then we have corrections like this, minus 40%, and it gets me thinking again, should I buy more? And I had this thought come up that I shared in my VIP group Discord, and I believe that Tesla is actually very similar to Apple. They have similar brand status, they have massive revenues, they're a hardware and software company, they have a loyal customer base, they're disruptive and innovative at their core, and they have global worldwide reach with their products. All of these factors not only apply to Apple, but also apply to Tesla. And that's what makes me so excited about this. Everyone sees Apple as kind of this once in a generational type company. If you bought Apple back, say in the 2000s, you'd be super rich right now. And I think in a few years, you're gonna look back at this time period and be like, oh man, if only we bought some more Tesla shares back then. So to make a proper comparison between the two, I think we need to spend some time looking at Apple's numbers just briefly to kind of give you an idea of, you know, how Apple's done, what they're projected to do, what justifies their $2 trillion market cap today. And we'll see some interesting things here which we can compare to Tesla, which will probably get you a bit excited about Tesla stock. Okay, so right here I have Stock Row opened up. It's a free service. You can use this. I personally use this for most of my data gathering. I think it lays out information quite well. What I want to point out to you here is just the revenue line, the gross margin line, and the net income line. These are three things I look at for all my stocks. There's some other metrics as well, but these are some of the three top metrics. And I want to compare this to Tesla to show you just how I come up with a possible $2 trillion market cap in just about 5 years or so. So Apple today is at around, a $2 trillion market cap, just a little bit over that. We had $274 billion in revenue last year. We're going to be hitting expectedly $333 billion of revenue this year, and margins are probably going to be in the high 30s once again. Now, net income is expected to be around $74 billion because Apple's shifting a lot of its efforts to software services. So it's becoming a lot more of a profitable business. And that's kind of what everyone's expecting here from this company. But what I want you to remember, $300 billion, 38% gross margin, and yeah, they're making a ton of cash. Now, if we jump over to Tesla, we can see that Tesla is also growing quite well. Of course, nowhere near as much revenue as Apple quite yet. However, what I want to point out is their gross margins are still pretty good. Now, auto manufacturers typically don't have gross margins this good, but because Tesla is not just an auto company, this kind of proves it right here. They sell a lot of software and services, and they're going to do a lot more of that when subscription comes out and all that stuff. These margins are going to just increase over time. And my prediction is that over the long term, Tesla will see kind of like in the mid 20s to high 20s gross margins. So not quite as high as Apple's, high 30%, but still a very respectable number. And then of course, net income should also be exploding over time. I think as revenue keeps going up, net income is going to keep following, no doubt about that. So now let's kind of jump over to my quick model over here, because this kind of gives you an idea of where I see Tesla. Kind of market cap of 650 billion, that's kind of where I model things out at right now. These are the revenue numbers that I'm expecting. So I have on the left hand side a conservative number, on the right hand side a more aggressive number. And you know what? Before I used to kind of lean more towards this, but after seeing their most recent quarter deliveries, I'm thinking Tesla may actually be able to sustain 50% growth year over year for the next few years. I know that's kind of bold. I know that's kind of crazy to think of, but I think this model right here is actually one we should pay more attention to now based on their last delivery numbers, which grew over 100% year over year. So looking at these numbers here, right? Let's just highlight this so it's kind of front and center. We can see that Tesla has been growing pretty well, kind of all over the place in recent years. But I'm modeling, say, 50% year over year for the next few years for revenue. If that's the case, they should hit Apple-like revenues sometime in 2026. Between 2025 and 2026, they should be seeing Apple-like revenues of $300+ billion. Now, if that's the case, guys, if they're hitting, say, $368 billion in revenue, which is actually exceeding what Apple's expect to hit this year, and they have gross margins, say, the high 20s, which is less than Apple, but still incredibly high, you can kind of couple that and say, okay, Tesla is a growth company, so it deserves a higher premium than Apple. And Tesla is also a profitable business with good gross margins. They have hardware, they have software, they have everything else that Apple has in terms of brand recognition, customer loyalty, prestige that goes with it, and all these other factors that really make Apple an incredible business. Tesla has those factors. So why can't Tesla be a $2 trillion company if it can hit this sort of revenue in 2026? Granted, of course, like I said, the margins are going to be a little bit lower, so maybe it's slightly lower than $2 trillion, but you got to pay a little bit of a premium for their massive, massive growth. So you can kind of weigh it either way. I think that it's very likely with these numbers, if Tesla is able to hit this, that they will be a $2 trillion company by the end of 2026. If these numbers accelerate, say they grow at like 70, 80% year over year, we may even see that before 2026, maybe 2025, maybe the end of 2024. That'll be absolutely mind-blowing if that happens, because that's only a few years away now. But I'm not going to rule that out. I think that Tesla, with all of their major catalysts coming up, which I'll cover in a upcoming video, has a good shot of making this a reality. When I bought Tesla, guys, it had like a 1 to 2 price to sales. And if I'm looking at least 5 years out, which is, anyone buying the stock today needs to be looking at least 5 years out, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. It could dip massively. Who knows? Maybe we move sideways for a bit. We don't know. But if we look 5 years out, we're getting a dirt cheap valuation based on these numbers for Tesla. If you think Tesla is worth more than a 2 price to sales and you're able to hold for at least 5 to 10 years, yeah, these numbers just kind of speak for themselves. Okay, so now in addition to all of this, a few weeks ago, ARK Invest released their 2025 price targets for Tesla, and that had the whole community in rage. There were people that were Tesla bulls that were like, this is just absolutely insane. You had, of course, the Tesla bears being like, she's gone crazy. It was just kind of, what's going on with ARK Invest? How could they come up with such an absurd price target for Tesla? And hey, as much as I have respect for Cathie Wood and their views on Tesla and what they've done so far with Tesla, I don't think that their bull case of $4,000 per share is something we're going to see by 2025. I think that's very, very unlikely to happen. However, if it does happen, hey, I'm not complaining. I hold Tesla shares. I will love that. We can see here though, in their bear case, ARK sees Tesla hitting a $1.5 trillion market cap in 2025. But in their bull case, they see this as a $4 trillion market cap company. I don't think that $4 trillion can really be realized that soon. I think it happens eventually over time, but just not this soon. There's also a lot of assumptions that ARK makes to, make that sort of prediction for Tesla. Like they predict that robotaxi could pull in $327 billion in revenue for them, and I don't think that's really going to happen that soon. I think it's going to happen eventually, probably at the back half of this decade, closer to 2030. But not as soon as in like 4 years or so. So it's clear ARK and I kind of have some differences here with our short-term price targets with Tesla, but long-term I think we both agree that this is a multi-trillion-dollar company. This is a global dominating company. It's going to be massive in many, many different segments, and there's a lot of opportunity today with it being around $650 billion in market cap. So here's just something I wanted to show you real quick on tip ranks with Tesla stock and Analyst. It's kind of mixed here when you look at the high level. You see some buys, some holds, some sells, price target around where we're at today. So nothing too crazy here. But what I do want to point out to you guys is this. Something I've noticed in the last few days is that analysts are getting increasingly bullish on this stock. You can see here Wedbush has come out with $8,000 price target. Oppenheimer, $1,036 price target. Piper Sandler, $1,200 price target. Argus Research from a few months ago, $1,010 price target. What I want to point out to you is that we're getting closer and closer to that $1,000 price targets from analysts. Some are clearly showing over $1,000 price for Tesla. Some are getting there around the $900 mark, close to the $900 mark. So it's clear to me that analysts are seeing a lot more upside in the stock. The ones that are really pulling down this rating are ones from a very, very long time ago. We're talking months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And that kind of skews the data a little bit because Tesla is such a rapidly changing company that these analysts have to be keeping up with it pretty much on a weekly or monthly basis at most to really have their price targets in check. If you're going to not cover Tesla for a few months, your modeling is most likely off by quite a bit. So that's why I kind of discredit all of these analysts down here who just have their targets from 3 months ago plus. I think the ones that are more recent, ones like this over here, are the ones we really got to take note of. And of course, you got to pay a little bit of tribute here to Gordon Johnson, with a negative 7.2% average rate of return with a sell rating on Tesla, no price target set. At least he's holding his ground, right, guys? Anyways, let's jump back to the video. So I've shown you a lot of information in this video and why I'm so bullish on Tesla and why I continue to be bullish going forward on this company. And I have to acknowledge that by buying the stock today, I am paying a premium on it. There's no other way to really come around that. There's no other way to really say that. I'm paying a premium for Tesla, especially as to what I bought it at a few years ago. There's no way I'm going to get that sort of discount again in the stock. I don't think ever, just because the market has now realized the value of this company. And I was lucky enough to realize that before the market did. But hey, like I said, I own the product. I've seen firsthand what they're capable of. I'm excited for their future. I follow the company very closely in terms of their news, products, releases, features, all that kind of stuff. And I think there's just so many catalysts for this company, even here in 2021, that the excitement, that the growth, or that the future just keeps going and getting stronger. But regardless, guys, you got to hold this, like I said, for at least minimum of 5 years for this sort of thesis to play out. We don't know what's going to happen in the short term. The stock could crash next week. The stock could move sideways for the next couple of years. But I think looking at this, say in 2026, 2025, 2026, around that time period, we'll be wishing we bought Tesla here at this valuation. So let me know in the comments, do you agree that Tesla should be a $2 trillion company, or rather will be a $2 trillion company in a few years, say by 2026? If not, what's your price target for around that period of time? Let me know. Try to justify it with some facts. I'll be reading every single comment down there, guys. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.